Easter Island, known to its inhabitants as Rapa Nui, stands as one of the most isolated inhabited places on Earth. This remote volcanic island is famed for its monumental statues, the moai, which have gazed silently over the landscape for centuries. Yet beyond the stone giants lies a mystery, perhaps even more profound, a lost script known as Rongorongo. The Rongorongo script is a system of glyphs discovered on Easter Island in the 19th century. It represents one of the very few independently invented writing systems in human history, making its undeciphered status a significant puzzle for linguists and archaeologists. The first recorded European contact with the island occurred in 1722, but it wasn't until the 1860s that the existence of the script was brought to the wider world's attention. Eugène Ayrault, a French lay missionary, was the first to report the existence of wooden tablets inscribed with these mysterious symbols in 1864. He noted their presence in nearly every house on the island, suggesting they were once common. These tablets, crafted from various woods, were covered in rows of pictographic and geometric characters. The script is written in a unique fashion known as reverse boustrophedon, where the reader finishes one line and then turns the tablet 180 degrees to read the next. The glyphs themselves are stylized representations of humans, animals, plants, and celestial bodies, as well as more abstract geometric shapes. There are hundreds of distinct glyphs, suggesting a complex system that could be a syllabary or logography rather than a simple alphabet. The name Rongorongo is said to mean to recite, to declaim, to chant out in the Rapa Nui language, hinting at its potential use in oral traditions or religious ceremonies. The island's oral history suggests that only a small elite, including chiefs and priests, were literate in Rongorongo. Tragically, the knowledge of how to read the script was lost in a very short period. The mid-19th century was a devastating time for the Rapa Nui people. Peruvian slave raids in the early 1860s decimated the population, carrying away a significant portion of the island's inhabitants, including many of the literate elite. When the survivors eventually returned, they brought with them diseases like smallpox, which further ravaged the remaining community. By the time Bishop Tepano Johnson of Tahiti began his efforts to preserve the script in the late 1860s, there were reportedly no islanders left who could definitively read the tablets. Only about 24 objects bearing Rongorongo inscriptions are known to have survived. These include wooden tablets, a chieftain's staff, a birdman statuette, and 2 Remiro pectoral ornaments. The most famous of these is the Santiago staff, a long wooden staff covered in nearly 2,900 glyphs. Another significant artifact is the Mamari tablet, which contains a lunar calendar, one of the few sections of Rongorongo that has been partially understood. The wood from which the tablets were made has been a subject of study itself. Some tablets are made from local Rapa Nui woods, while others suggest contact with the outside world. The quest to decipher Rongorongo has been a long and frustrating journey, filled with numerous attempts and false starts. Bishop Yausen was one of the first to try, working with a Rapa Nui man named Matoro Tawa Urere. However, it became apparent that Matoro was not actually reading the glyphs, but was instead chanting from memory. In the 20th century, various scholars proposed different theories. Wilhelm de Hevesy suggested a connection between Rongorongo and the Indus Valley script in 1932, a theory that has since been largely discredited. More systematic approaches began in the mid-20th century. Thomas Barthel, a German ethnologist, created a comprehensive catalog of the glyphs, assigning a numerical code to each one. He successfully identified a section of the Mamari tablet as a lunar calendar. This remains one of the only widely accepted partial decipherments of the script. Later, Russian researcher Irina Fedorova proposed that Rongorongo was a mixed system, containing both logographic and phonetic elements. She focused on analyzing the structure of the texts and the frequency of certain glyphs and glyph combinations. He claimed the structure of all Rongorongo texts was based on a creation chant. His theory has been met with significant skepticism from the wider academic community. The origin of the script is another point of intense debate. Rapa Nui oral tradition holds that the island's legendary founder, Hotumatua, brought 67 tablets with him. This would imply that the script has ancient roots, predating European contact by centuries. However, some scholars have proposed a more recent origin. They suggest the Rapa Nui may have been inspired to create their own writing system after seeing European writing in 1770. This theory is known as stimulus diffusion. The debate is fueled by the physical nature of the tablets themselves. Radiocarbon dating of the wood has been challenging and has produced varied results. One tablet was dated to the 15th century, but this date refers to the age of the wood, not necessarily when it was inscribed. Another tablet was dated to the 19th century, which could support the stimulus diffusion theory. The mystery deepens with the fact that no early European visitors before the 1860s reported seeing any form of writing. Cultural context of Rongorongo is vital to understanding its purpose. The script was likely tied to the island's complex social and religious life. The Birdman cult, a major ritual on the island centered at the village of Orongo, may have used the script. The intricate carvings on the tablets suggest they were objects of great value and prestige. The loss of the script was a cultural catastrophe, severing a link to the island's pre-contact history and knowledge. It was a final, tragic blow to a society already reeling from ecological disaster and internal conflict. Today, the Rongorongo tablets are scattered in museums and private collections across the globe. They are silent witnesses to a lost world of knowledge. Modern research continues, employing computational linguistics and statistical analysis. Researchers are creating digital databases of the glyphs, hoping new technologies might reveal hidden patterns. The hope is that one day, these enigmatic symbols will speak again. This would unlock the secrets of the Rapa Nui people and their unique place in human history. The enigma of Rongorongo is a powerful reminder of the fragility of knowledge. It shows the profound loss that occurs when a culture's voice is silenced. The silent tablets continue to challenge and fascinate, holding within their carved lines the story of a remarkable and resilient people. They are waiting for the day their language is finally understood. The intricate patterns of the glyphs seem to dance across the wooden surfaces. Each character is a miniature work of art, carved with precision and care. The reverse boustrophodon style of writing is a testament to the unique intellectual traditions of the Rapa Nui. Imagine a scribe chanting aloud as they trace the symbols, turning the heavy wooden tablet at the end of each line. The knowledge contained within was likely sacred, passed down through generations of initiated experts. The tablets were not mere records. They were conduits of power, history, and cosmic understanding. The loss of the ability to read them represents an immeasurable void in the cultural heritage of humanity. The story of their near-total destruction is a cautionary tale. The slave raiders of 1862 did not just steal people. They stole the key to an entire civilization's library. The smallpox epidemic that followed was the final, cruel chapter in this cultural annihilation. Bishop Yowson's attempts to save the script were a race against time that was ultimately lost. His correspondence reveals a growing sense of desperation as he realized the last of the literate were gone. The few islanders who tried to help him could only offer fragmented and often contradictory information. The oral traditions they recited were powerful, but they were not a direct translation of the glyphs. The link between the spoken word and the written symbol had been irrevocably broken. The surviving tablets are now priceless artifacts, guarded in climate-controlled vaults. Their physical presence is a powerful connection to the past, even if their meaning remains obscure. The wood itself tells a story of the trees that once grew on a more verdant Easter island. The craftsmanship speaks of a society that valued intellectual and artistic pursuits. The Santiago staff, with its thousands of glyphs, is a monumental achievement of inscription. One can only wonder at the epic tales or detailed genealogies it might contain. The Mamari tablet's calendar is a tantalizing glimpse into the practical knowledge encoded in the script. It shows that Rongorongo was not just for esoteric rituals, but also for organizing daily life. The debate over the script's origin continues to be a central theme in Rongorongo studies. Did Hotu Matua's canoe carry the seeds of this writing system from a distant homeland? Or was it a brilliant local invention, sparked by a fleeting glimpse of a Spanish signature in 1770? The evidence for either theory is circumstantial, leaving the question tantalizingly open. The theory of stimulus diffusion is compelling because it accounts for the sudden appearance of the script in the historical record. It suggests a remarkable act of creative genius by the Rapa Nui people. To see the concept of writing and then invent a completely new system from scratch is an incredible intellectual feat. On the other hand, the oral traditions are deeply ingrained in the culture and speak with a unified voice about the script's ancient origins. Dismissing these traditions as mere myth might be a disservice to the Rapa Nui's own historical consciousness. The physical dating of the tablets has not provided a definitive answer. The wood may be old, but the carving could be recent, or vice versa. This ambiguity is a common problem in archaeology, but it is particularly acute in the case of Rongorongo. The attempts at decipherment have been a parade of brilliant minds and crushing disappointments. Each new theory brings a wave of excitement, followed by the sober reality of scholarly critique. Fisher's copulation formula was a media sensation, but failed to convince the majority of experts. It seemed too simple. A single key trying to unlock a door with 1,000 different locks. The more patient, methodical work of scholars like Barthel and Fedorova has provided a more solid, if less spectacular, foundation. Their catalogs and structural analyses are the essential tools for any future decipherer. The dream of finding a Rosetta Stone for Rongorongo persists. Perhaps a bilingual text exists somewhere, overlooked in a dusty museum collection, or buried beneath the Rapa Nui soil. But as time goes on, the likelihood of such a discovery diminishes. The future of Rongorongo research may lie in the digital realm. Computational analysis can process the vast amount of data in the glyphs in ways the human mind cannot. Machine learning algorithms could potentially identify statistical regularities that point to phonetic values or grammatical structures. This approach removes the temptation to impose preconceived patterns on the script. It allows the data to speak for itself. In a way, the international community of researchers remains small but dedicated. They collaborate across continents, sharing data and debating theories. The puzzle of Rongorongo is a shared passion that unites them. Rapa Nui people themselves are increasingly involved in the effort to understand their own lost heritage. They are the rightful heirs to this knowledge, and their perspective is essential. The script is a symbol of their cultural identity and their resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship. Unlocking its secrets would be a profound act of cultural restoration. It would give voice to their ancestors and allow their stories to be heard once more. The silent glyphs on the weathered wood are not just a linguistic puzzle. They are a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. They represent the universal human drive to record, to remember, and to communicate across the generations. The enigma of the Rongorongo tablets is more than just an academic curiosity. It is a story about loss, survival, and the unquenchable hope for understanding. The world waits for the day when the chants of Rapa Nui are no longer just echoes from the past, but a living language read from the tablets themselves. The mystery of Rongorongo is the mystery of Easter Island itself, isolated, enigmatic, and profoundly human. The stone moai watch over the land, and the wooden tablets hold its secrets. Both are waiting. The sun sets over the Pacific, casting long shadows from the moai. On a small, weathered tablet, the glyph of a frigate bird seems to take flight. This character, repeated often, might symbolize a connection to the heavens or the gods. Another glyph, resembling a crescent moon, confirms the astronomical knowledge of the Rapa Nui. The scribes who carved these must have been revered figures in their society. Their hands shaped the memory of their people. Wood grain of each tablet is as unique as a fingerprint. Some are smooth and polished, others are rough and splintered. The tools they used were likely obsidian flakes or sharp teeth, requiring immense skill and patience. Each line of script is a journey, a path for the eyes and the voice to follow. The 180-degree turn at the end of each line is a physical dance with the text. It forces the reader to engage with the tablet as a three-dimensional object. This is a form of writing that is deeply embodied, not just an abstract collection of symbols. The loss of this tradition is a loss of a unique way of experiencing language. Slave ships that appeared on the horizon in 1862 were harbingers of doom. The islanders who were taken never saw their home again. They perished in the guano mines of Peru, taking their precious knowledge with them. The few who were eventually repatriated brought death in their lungs. The smallpox virus was an invisible invader, more deadly than any weapon. The population collapse was swift and brutal, falling from several thousand to just over 100. In this crucible of suffering, the finer points of ritual and literacy were a luxury that could not be afforded. Survival was the only priority. The stories of old men trying to recall the chants for Bishop Jausen are heartbreaking. They remembered fragments, echoes of a world that was gone forever. Confusion and sorrow are palpable in the historical accounts. They held the tablets, but the tablets no longer spoke to them. The museums that now house the tablets are both sanctuaries and prisons. They protect the artifacts from decay and theft, but they also remove them from their original context. A Rongorongo tablet in a glass case in Europe is a world away from a Rapa Nui chief's house. The digital repatriation of these artifacts, through high-resolution scans and 3D models, is a vital step. It allows the Rapa Nui people to reconnect with their heritage, even if the originals are thousands of miles away. The ongoing research is a slow and painstaking process. It is a marathon, not a sprint. There are no easy answers or sudden breakthroughs on the horizon. But each small discovery, each new insight, adds another piece to the puzzle. The identification of the calendar on the Mamari tablet was a huge step forward. It proved that the script was systematic and capable of recording complex information. It gave researchers a foothold, a place to start. The debate about the script's origin is a classic nature versus nurture argument on a civilizational scale. Was it an indigenous invention, born of centuries of isolation? Or was it a response to outside contact, a cargo cult of literacy? The truth may lie somewhere in between. Perhaps an ancient, simpler form of the script existed, which was then elaborated upon after the encounter with European writing. This would reconcile the oral traditions with the archaeological evidence. Whatever its origin, Rongorongo stands as a unique achievement. It is one of the few writing systems that appears to have been invented from scratch, without influence from other scripts. This makes it incredibly valuable for understanding the fundamental nature of writing and human cognition. The quest for decipherment is not just about cracking a code. It is about understanding a worldview. The glyphs are not just symbols for sounds or words. They are windows into the Rapa Nui mind. They reveal what was important to them: the stars, the sea, the birds, the ancestors. Read Rongorongo would be to see the world through their eyes. It would be to hear the voices of the poets, priests, and historians of a lost civilization. The silence of the tablets is a challenge to our own ingenuity. It dares us to be as creative and intelligent as the people who invented them. The final sentence of the Rongorongo story has not yet been written. It is being carved, slowly and carefully, by a new generation of researchers, inspired by the enduring mystery of the silent tablets. The Moai continue their silent vigil, guardians of an island and its secrets. And in museums around the world, the Rongorongo glyphs wait patiently for the day they can tell their story. The Enigma endures, a testament to the lost world of Rapa Nui. The journey to understand is as important as the destination itself. The tablets teach us about the past, but they also teach us about the present. They teach us about the importance of preserving cultural heritage and the enduring human quest for knowledge. The final word belongs to the glyphs themselves, which hold their meaning in a silent, patient embrace.